Future-Proof is sponsored by Learn Smart Academy, online revision courses for GCSE and A-Level. All your revision in one place, organised for you, interactive and game-changing. Welcome back from the break. Thank you so much for joining me, Sarah Hopwood, as I just continue this programme chatting through how to plan and develop your business. And just going into the break, I was talking here about the Mindshop process. And in the first half, I was saying, please do Google Mindshop, because these are the business problem solving tools that we use. Paul is one of the top UK facilitators, and it's incredibly powerful, good stuff, and well tested. It's been around a long time, and many businesses have used these effectively. And I was saying about focusing on the dotted line on this grid here, and imagine it as a curtain, and that you as a business leader are effectively peering through that curtain, because you are on the side, you're on the strategic side, you're in the boardroom, you are the ones as business leaders looking at where you want to be and the strategies, and then you are delegating to team members, and it might even be outsourcing, you never know, to others that are working on, if you like, the food that you are giving them, the instructions that you are giving them in the business. And right in the middle of there, you can see now, where, how, and that shows that as a business, you have looked at where you are now, and it could be where you are in the marketplace, not just, where you are as a business and where your competitors are. It's a very broad now where your suppliers are, particularly, for example, with Brexit and all the rest of it. My brother's had to do that. He's had to make some significant changes in his pipeline because of Brexit. So it's a massive looking at where things are now, not just internally, and where you want to be, and then how you're going to get there. So the process starts obviously with business owners, the decision makers, and that is, where is it that you want to be? And I've spent some time talking about that already. And then from that, you've got then the how, the strategies into how to get there. And then you are if you like, spreading that news, you're spreading the plans, and you're selling them. We're all selling the whole time. And you're persuading, if you like, the people who are then going to implement for you. And so they start with where are we now, because they need to know that, and they need to know what all the key issues are. And then the implementation is key, and motion is key. And the key thing I want to say about that implementation box is, please be careful that you don't keep waiting on your implementing until everything is perfectly in place. The secret to successful implementing is actually motion. And I'm not saying to just go blindly ahead before you've got even a sense of a plan. I'm not saying that. But waiting for the perfect environment before you start never actually happens, because there's always things that will come into your radar that will affect thinking or what have you. So that once you've got something to work on, the secret is then motion, start moving. There are many ways that you can conduct the now analysis, and in this workshop, as I'm calling it, you will be shown how to use the now, where, how, the GPS, which is the growth and profit solution diagnostic, the magic wand, mind mapping, Pareto, which is the 80-20 rule, and I can tell you more about that. And all these tools help us work out all about how and the now, where, and how. So the growth profit solutions are, I find these wonderful. And this is where we are looking at what it is that is affecting or could affect our growth and profits as speedily as possible. And there you've got the criteria, the GP, which is, you can see, but the S is solutions, because obviously in that grid you can see the ease of doing it, which is a very important total. So when you've done your now, where, how analysis, you'll then be coming up with these key points. So here there are examples that you want: high quality staff, new products, improve existing products, and new sales methods. And so then whatever your criteria are, you then are going to mark them, you're going to score them in those three columns. And the way you do it is you're asking questions here. It's the how to, which is why I've named this series all being about how to. And so growth. having high quality staff, how will that affect the growth of the business, the profit of the business, and how easy is it to do it? And that's how you score in that grid. And then you can obviously use those other examples that you can see in front of you. You then add it up. And then usually the one that has the highest total, so here it is actually the high quality staff, saying the thing that will impact on our business and bring us about the growth and profits that we want, the criteria more than anything else is the quality of our staff. So everything that you live, breathe, do and say will be all about quality of staff. And always remember, if you go for quality, then you can't then try and make your unique selling point, for example, on finance, on cheapness, because high quality staff don't come cheaply. So you're trying to decide how you're going to win in the marketplace. And this is an example of saying we will win by having high quality staff. You go to, for example, the pound shop and things like that. They say, how do they win? And they say, obviously, that's around finance being, stack them high and sell them cheap kind of idea. Magic wand you've seen before. This is very, very powerful, but it is, what is it? It's all around the where and what is it that you want to achieve. And here are examples that I can just let you read them through as I talk. With the magic wand, obviously, yes, you need to think about if you had a magic wand, there were no barriers of time, money, energy, geography, emotions. What is it you would want to see or do differently, or your people to see or do differently? A lot of it is internal because that's the engine room, if you like, of your business. But also you need to ask that question of what is it, what should be on that list that your customers want to see? And the big thing that people miss is what is on that list that your suppliers want to see. So often suppliers are not treated as best customers. They should be. Always pay your bills on time. Your suppliers aren't just supplying you, they're going around supplying loads of other people. So they're going to talk to other people, and they will either be your advocates and speak you up, or you would have perhaps created a reputation for being poor debts and what have you, and that will get out and that will sabotage your branding. So suppliers very often get missed, and they should be sitting ranked next to your best client, and we should be treating them as best we can. So once you know what your priority is and what you're going to run with, and here there's an example of sales, you then mind map it, and you then say, right, what does that mean? What does sales mean to us? And here you've got an example of what that mind map might look like. And I like here that you have, the main areas, points that come off the mind map, but then you might have a secondary thought associated with that. So you just tag it on. Key thing is not the time now to try and rationalize what can happen and what can't happen. The key thing about a mind map is you basically gather every single thought that comes to your mind. Rationalizing it can all come later. Sometimes you can miss something because you rationalized it out going, that's not possible, they won't do it, we can't afford it. It doesn't get put down, and then much later on you wake up at 3 a.m. and you realize that could have saved you so much time, so much money, so much effort, or whatever else it is, and reduced loss, avoided loss, if that idea had gone down and it had been considered in some way in a decision-making process. So don't rationalise, mind map, gather any thought that you have. You can bin stuff later. This is not the time to do it. So once you've got your mind map, it's the 80-20 rule of Pareto, and I'm going to kind of rest on this now, and then we'll pick it up a bit later on the next programme. I am going to continue this. To say Pareto is the 80-20 rule, and it comes from an Italian who understood that 80% of the wealth of his country was owned by 20% of the people, and he then looked around and he realised that this so-called 80-20 rule applied to many things. So particularly through lockdown, I haven't even been wearing 20% of my wardrobe, but you wear 20% of your wardrobe 80% of the time. It could be that 20% of your customers bring you 80% of your income, or 20% of your customers bring you 80% of your grief. The 80-20 rule is just quite good to consider. And also, when you have gathered a lot of data, it gives you permission to just pick a few priority headings and then almost kind of subconsciously just let the rest of it just sit back for a while. So it stops things becoming overwhelming. What I love about the 80-20 rule is to change it and say, well, why wouldn't you make it 90-10? Can you imagine if for 10% of your strategic planning and activity and running around brings you 90% of your income? Can you imagine what you would do with that extra time that you find where you might be able to use it in leisure or something else? So I quite like that, and that comes with smart decision making, prioritising, quality of staff, quality of product, quality of service. I will be picking this up again, so I hope to see you soon.